Hi everybody, I am here in my home kitchen under quarantine and I'm going to go ahead and finish up with our lessons for cooking. There is no editing here. I hope you don't get real bored, but we're going to make the vegetable soup portion and then there'll be other videos for the rest of what we're going to make. So today is vegetable soup. What you're going to want to have is a couple of stalks of celery, a cup of carrots. If you don't have baby carrots, then just use a couple of regular sized carrots. You're going to peel them and you're going to want to chop those up. I have a green bell pepper. I have a few cloves of garlic. I'm using about 5 small ones, so if they're bigger you don't need as much. And then I have about, 16 ounces of tomato puree. And then I've got a cup of elbow pasta, and then I've got a can of navy beans. You can use any beans you want. Right here I have 3 cups of beef stock that we're going to use. I've got my pan going. It's going to heat up at about medium-low, and right away I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil to the pan. So you can see we're going to put in about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in the pan. Okay. All right, so one last thing I need is an onion. It's one thing I did not grab. All right, I'm going to chop up the onion and add that to the hot pan. All right, so what you do is you watch your fingers. You need a good sharp knife. Maybe get some help from your mom and dad on this one. This is my compost. If you're a cook and you use a lot of vegetables, you should definitely have a bin where you put all of the vegetable scraps. You can put coffee grounds in here, you can put eggshells in here, and then put them in a pile outside with leaves and the grass when you cut the grass, and it all decomposes and breaks down into a really nice dirt, which is wonderful for your garden. Okay, so I'm going to give the onions a nice rough chop. Again, you want to watch your fingers. Make sure that your knife is sharp enough so that it doesn't jump. And just chop it up. Right, if you have red onions at home, you can use red onions. The great thing about cooking savory food is that you can use whatever you have on hand. So I've got the onions going there. And now I'm going to add the carrots. So I'm going to give those a rough chop as well. If you particularly like a specific vegetable, like if you're really a big fan of carrots, then use as many carrots as you want. Now in our family, we really like carrots. So I try to put extra carrots in because that's the thing that everybody seems to want to fish out of the soup. And some people don't like onions. I know some of my kids don't really like onions, but onions really are important to give good flavor to the soup. So you don't want to skip that. Okay, so the carrots are going to go right in as well. And the celery. I like chunky because then you can have a spoonful of the soup, of the chunky vegetables with each bite of soup instead of small pieces. So does Lila. All right, now we'll get that in there. Just try and give it a little stir. So I'm going to soften that up. While Lila is giving that a stir, I'm going to cut up the bell pepper. Lila wants to come on over here. That's good enough. I'm going to show you with the bell pepper what I did. I took the top off and the bottom off of the bell pepper right here. So now all you have to do is just sort of open this pepper up, and you can pull all the seeds and the ribs right out of it. One thing that doesn't break down when you're cooking are the seeds of the bell pepper, so it's really good to get all those out of there. They don't ever seem to get soft. All right, so, and again, you're just gonna rough chop the vegetables. Now you can use colored peppers if you prefer. You can use a combination of red and green peppers. It's really up to you. And if you're not a fan of peppers, you don't have to put those in. Okay. All right, so we'll get the rest of these peppers in. Now this has to soften. Got my helper in here. Now I'm gonna show you a trick to get the skin off garlic. The first thing you want to do is you want to cut off the tip or the end piece here, and then with the flat knife you put it on top of the garlic and you hit a little pressure there, and the skin comes right off. So you can do that for all of your garlic. Alright, now I have a garlic press, but some of you may not, so I'm going to just go ahead and chop this by hand. You see, that didn't even have any skin left on it, and this one didn't either. So here's the last one. It's pretty easy to get it off after you've done that. Okay. Alright, so make sure you get all that stuff out of there. You just want the garlic part. Alright, just going to give it a rough chop. Alright, now you don't want to add the garlic too soon, because if you do, the garlic can scorch and burn and become bitter. So I really want to wait until the vegetables have softened in the pan before I put the garlic in. And it won't be in there very long before I add the stock and the tomatoes, so that really helps it from burning. You don't want it to burn. Okay. So speaking of that, how are those vegetables? Are they pretty soft?
I'd say.
Okay. So we're softening up the vegetables. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, but the onions are becoming translucent. They start to look like they're losing their white opaque color. Okay, and then we're going to add the garlic. So the garlic goes right in, just like that. Give that a stir. And now it's time for the tomato sauce and for the beef stock. Now, if you don't want to use beef stock, you can use vegetable stock, and you can also use chicken stock. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and add the tomato puree. That all goes in. And we're also going to add 3 cups of stock. All right, there we go. So let that stir a little bit. I use a paste, which you can tell is sort of at the bottom here. You can use bought stock, that's fine. Homemade stock is fine. You find that if you buy it, you can get it with low sodium, low salt, which is good. Then you don't have to add as much salt.